Well, we have something new now. Well, not new, it's 80 years old really, because last week, as you remember, we had the D-Day, Normandy landing celebration, 80 years. And we were invited to travel around the country a bit and talk to people, view them at their parties, in their celebrations, because they were all alive at that time. So this is what we did, and it was very interesting to see what people remembered, and they reminded me of things that I had sort of just forgotten that were relevant to that particular time, all sorts of things. And we found that people prepared these. There was a lot of craft going on to get their bunting. The food was tremendous. That was, I think, sponsored by somebody to get their food on, but that was really good. And as I remember things, there was someone who was giving us her experience. Some of the people who were contributing are questioning their memory of the situation, and they're a little bit concerned that they might maybe just doctoring it up a little bit, or they may have remembered it while they were asleep and it's a dream. However, at this period of time, we found two examples. You'll see one of them in this section, of where there is a record historically of something that happened, but it's just a very basic record. And we have, as you know, the authentic voices, that's what we're using, and we have that story from the person who remembers it. Look out for it, it's very interesting. And then in other cases, we've got personal stories from their childhood that are not quite related to the war, other than in a connection to something that happened to, for instance, foreigners who were in the country at the same time. Watch out for that, it's really, really good. There's a comment about face masks, gas masks. Very, very interesting. So the whole collection has been made up of their parties. Now, I didn't want to go there and interfere with the parties. That's what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to be there with the cameras poking in their face. And as you know, none of it is programmed, none of it is prepared. It is all taken as it happens. And so there'll be a little bit of skipping and jumping, but never mind that, you'll enjoy, because I enjoy doing it. And you'll see some of the people who made their presence felt by joining in their, what they thought was an appropriate item for the time of dress. And some of them, they're quite good, they really are quite good. And some of the photographs that I put up have had responses from people who recognize the person in the photograph from when they used to work with them, or used to know where they lived, or that sort of thing. It's quite an interesting episode, although it's not exactly the same as Better Late Than Clever usually is. But this is a case of better late than 80 years ago, clever. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm sure you will. We'll try and keep it as, how can I say, as reasonable to follow as we can. And that way, I'm sure you'll really get the best out of it. Look at that, that's it. Barbara?
Barbara, wave. Give a wave.
Give us a wave.
Yay!
Thank you very much. There's something we spoke about before, Barbara, and I can't remember what it was. It'll come to me. See, I suffer from it as well. Yeah, that's it. Kevin!
You.
Yes. Let me get round here now, because I want to take a minute. Oh, love it. Oh, is that? Wait, that's really good. And the flag, that was good. And where's the plates? I got to take a picture of plates, because I think they were really, really cool. I haven't seen those anywhere else. Right, so we get over here now, and this is the star of our last show. This is Brenda, who's had time to think about things, and one of the things that she's thought about is being, you tell us, Brenda.
When I was in school, I was quite young, and we used to wear gas masks, and we used to, the toddlers used to wear Mickey Mouse ones.
That was to get you used to them in case there was a
that's
gas
right,
leak.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they used to have them for babies as well, special ones for
That's right.
babies, yeah.
Anybody else remember gas masks?
Wasn't born then.
No? 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 That's the advantage of having someone like Brenda in the place, you see. She remembers these things. What was your memory?
One memory I got is of a bomb dropping in outside Ebervale Cemetery.
Oh, the only bomb, wasn't it?
Pardon?
It was about the only bomb, wasn't it?
Only bomb that fell on Ebervale. And they put the fault on a double-deck bus. He'd lost his way and he put his lights on to find out where he was, because he'd hit a crossroad and he didn't know where he was.
No.
And he bombed him.
There was an airplane going over and he dropped a bomb. They thought it was Ebervale Works.
And where were you while this was going on?
I was locked in a cubbyhole under the stairs. My father locked us in. And we could only get out from the outside. There was no lock inside.
Oh, God. Well, that's fabulous.
You going tonight, Carol?
Not the same. Up there in the wall.
What was his name?
William Charles Thomas of Tredegar,
And he was a Fusilier.
Welsh Fusiliers.
Tell us about the war.
I was born at the end of the war, so I don't really remember much but I don't remember anything actually about the war. But I do remember vividly the few years after the war, and I remember it particularly because there were no sweets available. And near us was a shop which was owned and run by a man called Albino Dalla Negra. He was a great favourite, he was a very nice man, and he was a great favourite with everybody, and all the children liked him. And if Albino got sweets in, the word would go out and everybody would rush to Albino's, hoping to get there before he sold his sweets out.
And he was an ice cream seller as well.
Yes, he sold ice cream and fish and chips, and he had a cafe. He had a very successful business altogether there. There were the shop was in two separate bits. In the one side was fish and chips, in the other side was a cafe, and there you'd buy your ice cream. And I only found out recently that he made the ice cream at the back of the shop, because I met someone here whose father was in business with him, and he told me that they made the ice cream at the back of the shop. But I remember him for the sweets, because the word would go out and everybody would rush, and the sweets would come in little triangular paper bags, and if you were a bit slow off the mark, you might only get 4 or 5 sweets, but we were so pleased to get the sweets, and you had to have money and coupons. It was no good having one or the other. You had to have money or coupons. And I can't verify this, but I was told that during the war, Albino, being Italian, he was interned because he was Italian, but he was so well liked in Rumney that the people of Rumney got up a petition and they got him out, and he came back to Rumney. But that was, I know, that was before my time, but that's the local story. The local legend is the people of Rumney liked him so much they got him out.
Good afternoon. I'm here at Coed Michel to try and actually celebrate D-Day and also the memory of my grandfather and the bits and pieces of what he tried and told me what he'd done during the war.
Could you tell us some?
My grandfather was in the parachute regiment. He was dropped in Arnhem, as they call it, the bridge too far. And there's a few stories what he liked to he shared with me when he was there about his platoon being split up and bits and pieces like that and other stuff, and basically like near enough surrendering before like the reinforcements come through and everything else like that. One of the main memories, what I remember him telling me, that he was on the what they trying to call the mortars, right? And there's a Panther tank actually coming across the bridge, and he actually managed to take it out, him and two other gentlemen.
So interesting things come to mind from last week. It was a busy week, and we were travelling the length and breadth of Blaenau Gwent and Newport and Cardiff and things like that. But some of the things that I tried to show you, for instance, there was an interesting thing that I photographed in one of them, and I took it, you'll see, it's a table. And it's a table after they have finished eating their meal. Now, that doesn't sound like much, but it looks like a battlefield. That's what it looks like. But the actual table was laid and cooked for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. The two volunteers, one of them was called Peter, as I recall, cooked full meals for those 4 days in celebration of the D-Day. And I thought, how do we show that? Well, we'd show it by showing you the table and what it was like after the event, the battlefield, as I said. And associated with that is the guy in the uniform, you'll see him, and also the Jeep. It was an actual American Jeep, and if you just wait while I'm traveling around it, you'll see the guy in his American fatigues with the American style crash hat. Excellent little piece of it. The other things that we're doing is there's people who are telling us a story about, do you remember that, well, if you're old enough you will, they interned all of the foreigners that were in this country, and a lot of them, their only danger was that they had cafes where you would eat too much because they were ice cream makers. They brought their own recipes of ice creams with them, and they had a sweet shop, a chip shop, a cafe, very, very famous, interned. Well, listen to how the lady that we spoke to, listen to how she tells her story of it. Really, really very interesting to think back. Those of you who are a lot younger than us will have your eyes wide open in astonishment at some of the things that went on in it. Other places that we went to, for instance, we saw people who were dressed up, as I said, and there was one or two that were really patriotic and had their uniforms on. The story about phoning up came from one of the pictures that you'll see. Two guys in a picture. In fact, it's the only picture of me in the whole 8 visits. And that was because I knew the guy, and you'll see what it was. But somebody who worked with him when he was driving the buses, phoned in as a contact and said, I knew him, actually called a different name, but it was in fact him, and he's come to their attention. So it was a very interesting week. It was a hard going to get them all in. Some of them were on the same day, and so it was 2 a day, and that was an interesting tear in and tear out. But like I said, tried not to interfere with the party. I had to let them enjoy themselves, but I wanted somebody from the party itself to contribute a experience. So that's like Better Late Than Clever, because that's what we do. We interview people. But I didn't want to go into long interviews. We just wanted little snippets, and you'll find plenty of them in there for this. Well, is it an episode? No, it's not really an episode. It's more like a celebration interview. And there it is. Another episode has gone up on Better Late Than Clever. I think we're on about 7 now, which is really, really good. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a bit different, but in a similar sort of vein. I had a great time going around and doing it and meeting them all and meeting people now who are beginning to remember and tell me stories. It's not like somebody coming in filming them from the telly. It's like Pete coming down for a chat, so that's working out pretty good. So enjoy this one. I'm sure you will. And then leave us a comment. Don't forget, we're on Facebook, YouTube, and betterlateandclever.com. Get on there, and if you would, just share it so that you get your friends looking at it, and we build up a bit of an audience and more appreciation from people. It's been great. See you next time when we'll do a bit more Better Late and Clever.
They shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Years shall not condemn them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.